Hey kids, it's Papa. Are you ready to explore the Bible? All right. Well, turn with me back to Exodus chapter 16, and we're going to see what happened. Well, you remember the children of Israel came and they were murmuring and complaining, and they were being selfish and pig-headed, and they were exaggerating. I wish God had killed us in Egypt instead of bringing us out here to die. Oh, shut up. Anyway, so what were they complaining about? Well, they were complaining that they didn't have any food. Well, they had food, but they were getting scared because they were thinking this food is going to run out. And sometimes we have to run out before God steps in and gives us, because He doesn't want us relying on what we have. He wants us to rely on what He will give us. And so, yeah, that maybe they were running out of food, but they were okay. God doesn't starve people to death. So, what happened? Well, Moses said, you know what? God's got a plan. And here we see that he says, we're going to send you some food 2 times every day. Okay? Notice that it says in verse 4, it says, then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. Now, what's he talking about? Well, God was going to send them manna. Now, it's interesting. They went out and they saw it laying there on the ground, and they said, what is it? Well, in the Hebrew tongue, the expression, what is it, is the word manna. So they called it manna. What is it? I don't know. But it was like a bread that was sweet and delicious, and tasted a little bit like honey, and it was good. And God says, we're going to prove them. We're going to see if they are willing to believe me and trust me. So God said, we're going to send you manna for 6 days. Okay? On the 7th day, on the Sabbath, we're not going to send you any manna. So on the 6th day, you need to gather twice as much of it. But when you gather food on, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, on the Thursday, only gather as much of it as you're going to eat that day, and don't leave any of it to the next day. And so what did the children of Israel do? They went out in the morning and, whoa, on the ground, what is it? Let's call it manna, because we don't know what it is, but it tastes good. And so they gathered up a whole bunch. And some of them obeyed and just gathered what they would eat that day. But some of them thought, boy, it's all over the ground. Let's gather more of it. And so they went out and gathered more of it. And when they couldn't eat it all, they thought, well, I'll eat this tomorrow. And the next morning they woke up and it had worms in it, and it stunk, and it was terrible. How are we going to get rid of this stuff? This stinks. And you see, they didn't obey God. Now, the problem wasn't that God didn't tell them enough. It's that they didn't obey what God had told them. And, that's the way it is with us. The problem isn't that God doesn't tell us enough. It is that we don't obey what God tells us. And so they thought, well, okay, we better not do that. And they learned the hard way. So on Friday, they went out and they gathered enough for that day. And on Saturday, the Sabbath, when God had told them, I'm not going to send any manna, they went out looking for it. And they couldn't find any because God hadn't sent any like He had told them. And so they went hungry that day. Well, listen, we need to obey God. We need to listen to the simple things that He tells us. And when He tells us don't do that, then you know what? Don't do it. And when He tells us, you should do this, then guess what? We should do it. It is not difficult to obey God. It just needs to be done. By the way, it's not difficult to obey your parents. It just needs to be done. So, for heaven's sake, just do what you're supposed to do. Don't complain about it. Don't get upset. Just say, okay, and do it. It's simple. It's an easy way to live. So Just do it. Love you guys. See you later. Bye bye.